Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Kev. I am from TCSEAML. Our group name is Dungeon Masters and our problem statement is analysis based on government land information system data. So basically we'll begin with what do we understand from the problem statement. So from problem statement, as you can see, we are focusing, or we can say we are emphasizing on the topic that is government land. Government actually does has the information of the land which it owns, and but the thing which we are trying to solve is creating a system which would help them to create the most optimal thing on a specific piece of land. So this is our approach for solving the problem. We'll help them to create an optimal solution for creating the infrastructure, or we can say the residential, or MIDC area, or any forest agriculture planning and things like that in the most optimal and the most effective way. Also from this we will be reducing the cost of it, and will be helping the the broker services, as well as we can say the local users. So basically I start with the architecture. Now how do we start with the architecture? Architecture is basically a flowchart through which we are trying to approach for the solution of this problem. So initially we are focusing on collecting the data from GIS. The GIS is a website, or we can say a web interface provided by the government, which provides us the data in the pictorial form and as well as in the CSV files. From collecting the data, collecting the data from it, we'll be putting the data into pre-processing. In pre-processing, we'll be cleaning the data and doing ETL processes on it. And after that, after the data is after the collection of data, we'll apply a deep learning algorithm on it. Deep learning algorithm basically which we are using are CNN or KNN as per our research, and we'll be even searching for more deep learning algorithms which would help us to provide it in the most optimal way. Nextly, we'll be creating a web interface. A basic web interface by using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, which would help us to which would help us to create our website. The most, what we can say is handy, or we can say easy to use. From which a person who doesn't know how to operate a website can also be able to search as per his or her requirement. Nextly, we are going towards the data part, that is data integration, analysis, and visualization. For visualization, we'll be using tools like Power BI, Tableau, etc. After collecting all the data, we'll be presenting it in the form of an app. We In the architecture, we have mentioned a few features which will be including in the app. So the first feature which we have included is will be provide after the like will be selecting a piece of land. After selecting a piece of land, we'll be providing an I button of it. After clicking on I button, we'll be getting the information such as land history, land ownership, land area, square kilometers, land location, latitude and longitudinal wise. Nextly, also we'll be providing the location services, like the transportation services, the connectivity, locality, online cab services availability. Through this, it will help us to know that the location can is having a development ratio or not, and it will help us in the urban planning. Next is we'll be providing the table of a data of in the pictorial form, like the table will be in the tabular format, in which will include land fertility, predict the most suitable land usage, land quality, climatic conditions, land incline and decline ratio. After all that, for providing all these what we can say on web interface for solving this problem statement, the technology which will be using are Python, the for creating web interface are JavaScript, HTML and CSS. For cleaning the data, we'll be using ETL processes, ETL tools, and we'll be also using the GIS website for collection of data and machine learning algorithms. Also, the data which we are getting will be stored in MySQL, and for visualization, we'll be using tools like Power BI and Tableau. So moving towards to the next slide, that is use case. As per our problem statement, there are multiple use cases which we have researched. The first one which we are seeing is urban planning. Since we are since we are getting to understand the transportation services as well as the availability of resources around a certain land, it will become very easier for planning an urban, or even the rural development. Also, the location for infrastructure is the major cause, or we can say major reasoning. It will be a major drawback, or we can say a major factor. यहाँ से शुरू करते हैं. The next point is location for infrastructure. Location for infrastructure is the major factor for the construction builders, because it completely depends upon the land fertility, land dependencies, and the climatic conditions of that land. Next, and also following it, the environment protection. Since we are trying to create urbanization, or we can say developing the cities, the environment protection comes into picture. Environment protection is basically not basically it is like, रुक जा start से. So basically environment protection mainly calls for protecting air, land and water pollution, and following it, land governance and transportation, as we have seen above. The transportation services will be the transportation services availability will be provided, and land governance, as we are providing the land history, it will also be shown to you. The next is planning agriculture. The agricultural planning completely depends upon the soil quality, the availability of rainfall, and the climatic conditions of a certain region. So if we are planning so since we are providing the excess information about a certain piece of land, it will help us to create environment in which we'll be getting to know which crop to be grown at a certain piece of land. The next is tourism development. As we are moving towards the development side, the tourism will increase automatically, and also the accommodation of the tourism will have a great extent. Now we'll move towards the showstoppers. We have entered many showstoppers, so I'll list them. So the first one is accessing data and its quality, performance and versatility, user friendly interface, security and compliance, leading analysis, documentation and governance, infrastructure, collaboration, updates and its maintenance, and the last is real estate decisions. The main channel for which we are providing this problem, the solution for this problem, is government organization, industries, city planning, and etc. Also, the major also will help us the local people, since they'll also get to understand the importance of buying a land in a area where the development is going to increase in the coming time. The next is the revenue stream. The problem statement which we are falling into is a government based problem statement. So the revenue stream which we are planning to hold is like service based model. We'll be providing the service, that is the providing the definition, or we can say the insights of a land, and depending upon that we'll be charging as per the requirement of the user. So from this I would like to end our PPT. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Muskan Khan and I'll be explaining the prototype of our project Analysis of Government Land Information System. So to start with the project, this is the web interface. We'll have to enter the location, like it can be our current location or any other location we want to get the required data. After selecting the location, this is something you will encounter, like shown at the right of the page. You can see this image like a map. It will show us this on the interface. After everything is done, it will show us a visualized image that will contain all the data information we need, like land's quality, availability, fertility, area, incline decline ratio, its history, its location in latitude and longitudinal wise, country, state, taluka, etc. All of the detailed information is shown in the table, in the form of table below the visualized image. Now, the most important aspect of the location details or information is the transportation services really good around. So to check that, we'll be using these kind of maps. Like this map here, for example, is used to check the transportation services around in railways or roadways or waterways. Similarly, we have another map that will be checking the transportation services for airways, that is if there are any airports available around the location. Next, we have a very rough analysis of the distribution of land in the most cases. Uh, to start with, the most is given to the residential land, that is 37%, like it is like that 37%. Then we have agriculture at 27.8. Then we have forest and 18.4, industrial land 7.4%, and MIDC area in 9.3%. There is no big difference in the residential land and agricultural land. It's almost the same as they top the major factors. Then we have the forest, and at the least is industrial. Now, the residential, forest, and industrial are subdivided further. Like the industrial is subdivided in buildings and slums. Forest is subdivided in natural or man-made, that is the sanctuaries. Industrial is divided into corporate or MIDCs. Here we also have a state-wise graph distribution of agricultural land available in India. Like here, all the states are listed listed, and there's this graph showing of how much agricultural land is present in these states to be worked on. Now, to make this project run or work, we need locational and land information which should be very accurate. So for that, we'll be using the government land information system website, which is a government website that has all the land information. This is the user manual that we got from the official website, which shows us how to use this website. So basically, to get information about the land, we just log in with the credentials that we are provided, and then we can get the information about any land that we want. The main complaint or the misjudge of this whole problem statement is that uh, urban and rural areas of the land are not used in the most optimal way. We need to make sure that all the land is used properly and there is no disadvantage of or wrong usage of land around. So, as we know, this website has all the official and accurate data about the land. We'll be using this website to get all the information and the official access to the land, and then apply our steps to get the most perfect and the most optimal solution for this problem, which is really a social problem. So, as Kef has explained the flowchart or the architecture of the project, I'll just list the steps once to explain how it will work. So, basically, we'll get all the data from the GLIS website. The date, that is data collection. We'll collect the data, then we'll pre-process the data so that the data gets cleared, in which we'll be applying the ETL process and cleaning process. Then the data will go through some deep learning algorithms like KNN or CNN. Then all of this data will be put on a web interface. Now to make the web interface uh, Now to make the web interface responsive for the user, the data will go through data integration, analysis, and visualization. After data visualization, the step is done. The data will be visually present for the user, and it will be very user friendly to use, and it will be very easy to understand for the user. Here we have also included some features that we'll be going to add in our project. That is, it will show us the land's history, its ownership, its area, its location, its fertility. It will predict the usage properly, the land's quality, and the climatic conditions around the land, like what is the conditions around. Also, the transportation availability will be shown, its connectivity, its locality, and if there are any cab services available around or no. In the end, we have the slides for the deep learning process that we'll be using. So the main part in the deep learning is syntax and semantic segmentation, but keeping syntax segmentation aside, we'll be using semantic segmentation. After you read these slides, you'll get to know more about it, and it will be very clear about how we are using deep learning in our project. So with this, I would like to end the explanation of the prototype. Thank you.